Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 21, beginning from verse number 1. So, in the previous chapter, we read the story of King Bharata. And
बाबा जी
हाँ जी,
ये मेरा संशय था कल कि जो yesterday it was said in Bhagavatam that the women are Susammata, the wives of Bharat Maharaj, and then the mention was the Vichar. So I checked with also other commentaries, or even with Sridhar Swami's, and he has given little also lengthy commentary. Also says it is the Vichar was the thing they were afraid of, and therefore they killed their son.
yes,
And other commentator also say the same thing.
yes. So, what is the question?
No question. It was interesting. I was thinking, why did Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says Vichar? What was the base for his thinking? It was little unusual in that sense because Bhagavatam says Susammata.
Where is Susammata?
Verse number 34, previous chapter, 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. Maybe it's mentioned somewhere else because sometimes certain things are not stated in Bhagavatam. Because here the stories are given in very brief manner. So sometimes the commentators they comment on the basis of description in other places where more details are given. So it is possible that it's mentioned somewhere in Mahabharata or some other Purana because these stories also repeat and different Puranas or Itihasas they relate the same story sometimes in more detail. Also sometimes they are little different. So it's possible that way you mentioned.
Thank you.
So of course this whole thing about Brihaspati, Mamata, Utatya, it is quite unusual plot. So I've been thinking about it, what is it? So one thing is that because these names also signify something. So Mamata means attachment and Vitatha means false. So material attachment gives birth to something which is false, even if it is conceived by Guru Brihaspati. So that is one sense which comes from it. That even if it is Brihaspati and he is materially attached, then outcome is only Vitatha. And this word Utatya, I don't know what it really means because I could not figure it out. Only, there is a word called Tathya which means truth, but how U comes before, it's difficult to say. So either it is Utatya or it is made from Uta. Uta is indeclinable and it is generally used in the sense of doubt. So this says Thanu Va or Uta Purusha. Uta can be used in the sense. So therefore it also means that if there is doubt and then their wife is Mamata, the product is blind because their son was born as Dirghatama, means deep darkness. So doubt only brings darkness, right? So as Krishna says that Agyasya Sradhananasya Sanshayatma vinashyati. So sanshaya is same like sleeping. Shaya, shaya, shayan, to sleep. Sanshaya means to sleep nicely. Samyak shayan. So shayan is also darkness. So therefore it is no wonder that the sun comes out as Dirghatama. Of course, if you study, then both Dirghatama and Bharadwaj, they are sages. They are actually mentioned in the Vedas also. But still these stories have some other meanings also besides that. So now another interesting thing is that this son is a son of Brahmana, and now he becomes Kshatriya. Because Maruta, they bring Vitatha. So Vitatha means false. And false things are spread by air. Right? Rumors spread by air, right? Very quickly. So therefore Vitatha was taken by Maruta. Maruta is air. And given to Bharat. So that is so, but he is Brahmana, he becomes a Kshatriya now. And if he is the same Bharadwaj, the famous Bharadwaj, then he becomes a Brahmana later on. So this is a very complex thing here, that he is born from Brihaspati. He is an illegitimate child, first of all. Then he becomes son of Bharata, of all the people. His wives kill their own children. So this very complex stories which you see from the very beginning, whether you read Mahabharata or you read Bhagavatam, there is always some complexity with the son. So, first of all, Dvaipayano Virahatur Ajuhav Putreti Tanmayata Tarvobhinedu. That is right in the very beginning. So Vyasadeva has a son and the son is running away. So son is always giving problem. Looks like that. So people want son and there is so much trouble coming. So Vyasa, he had problem. His son, he left. Right? So anupetam peta krityam, without undergoing the ceremony. And then the son is so great that these girls are not worried about him but about the father. Then we come further down, then 5 sons of Draupadi are killed. That is the story. Right? Then comes the story of Parikshit, that he was burnt in the womb by Aswathama. And then there are so many stories which come all through. The story of Brahma's son, they say no, we don't want. Brahma gets angry at them, Kumaras. So they also gave trouble to Brahma, did not listen to him. Vyasa's son did not listen to him. And then Chitraketu's son, only son which gave little help was Ajamil's son. Right? So then we have Kardama, who also leaves. So we see throughout. Then Vena story is there. So here also we see it's very complicated. How this is supposed to be Moon dynasty. The start itself is a problematic, right? That Chandra is having relationship with this Ila, who is don't know, God knows whether he's a male or a female. So then you get son from that.
No, Buddha was born. No?
Yeah, Buddha. Yeah.
Married Ila.
Yeah, Buddha. Buddha married Ela. And Buddha himself is like illegitimate. Right? So it's all complex situation. So no wonder that many people used to take sannyas. I mean, even Krishna had problem with his sons, right? The whole problem came because of the sons. Krishna himself was a problem for his parents. Isn't it? I mean, Vasudeva and Devaki, they were put in prison because of the son. And then his whole dynasty later on was destroyed only because of the son's problem. So from all this it comes is that it is better not to have a son. That seems to be the message. And that's why Krishna, all his stories are before he got the sons. All the songs which you sing about Krishna and paintings, and that is all before he actually had sons. Once he had sons, there is not much talk about him. So now this guy, Vitatha, he says that he becomes the son of Bharata. So just wind brought. So this Bharata, who is doing 133 Aswamedha Yajna, he could not have one son. Right? And then he has to do a Putrashti Yajna, Marutstoma, right? He worshipped Maruta.
These Marutas are the same ones in the womb of Diti and Indra.
Yeah, same Maruta. From whom comes Hanuman, Maruti. It's called Maruti, right? Not the Maruti car. But say the same. Maruta. So he says Vitatasya Suto Manyur. Now Vitathe, they give another meaning to Vitatha. Vitatha means lost. Generally it means false, because Tatha means reality. And Vitatha means Vigata Tatha Yasmat Vitatha, which does not have truth in it. So when Bharata's dynasty was almost lost, then Vitatha was brought by Maruta and given to him. So therefore he is now got a new meaning that came when the dynasty was lost. That's why I said Dattoyam Vitathe Anvaye. Anvaye Vitathe means when Anvaya means dynasty was getting lost. Just like Parikshit. So Parikshit, common meaning given is that who is all the time looking, right? But there is another meaning. Parikshit also means when the dynasty of the Pandavas was Parikshina. Then he came, so therefore he got his name was Parikshit. So Parikshina means lost. So here also we have Vitatha. So Vitatha in that sense means same as Parikshina, lost. So Vitatasya Suto Manyu. So Vitata's son name is Manyu. So Vitatha is false and his son is Manyu. Manyu means anger. Right? Somebody tells lies, you get angry. Right? False statements give rise to anger. So Manyu came from Vitatha, and Manyu Brihat Kshatro Jayastataha. And then from Manyu came 5 sons. Brihat Ksatra, Jayastata, Mahaviryo, Naro Garga, and Sankriti Stu Naratmaja. So the 5 sons were born to Manyu: Brihat Ksatra, Jaya, Mahavirya, Nara, Garga, and Sankriti. So anger can create many children, no problem. Out of them, one is called Nara, and Nara's son's name is Sankriti. And then Guruscha Ranti Devascha Sankrite Pandunandana Ranti Devasi Yashahiya Mutra Cha Giyate. Then Sankriti had 2 sons. The eldest son's name was Guru, and the younger one was called Ranti Deva. So he says that the fame of Ranti Deva spread not only in this world but also in the next, means in the Swarga. So he is going to now speak a little about Ranti Deva's story. So that is interesting. So in between, one person comes and one nice story comes. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Ekavinshe Puruvanshya Ranti Deva Kathochyate Yasya tu Audarya Dhairyabhyam Trayadhishas Tesham Ayayu. In this 21st chapter, there is a description of King Rantidev, who appeared in the dynasty of Puru, and the 2 characteristics of Rantidev were Audarya and Dhairya. He was very generous and very forbearing. So much that because of these 2 characteristics, the 3 Ishwaras, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, personally appeared to him. So that is being described. So Vitatho Bharadwaja Sacha Brahmanopi Bhartasya Putras Tasmat Manyu. So Vitatha is same as Bharadwaja, whom nobody wanted. So not only that he is illegitimate child, but he is also unwanted child. Because Mamta did not want him and Brahaspati did not want him. Because none of them were interested in having a child. Brahaspati was not interested in having a child, and Mamta was already pregnant. So he is the unwanted child, but now he becomes the king. So that's some karma. And he is really Bharadwaj, if you want to say. Dwaj means 2, and now he is in the Bharata's dynasty. So Bharadwaj is coming from Bharat. So he says that although he was Brahmana, but now he became Kshatriya. So he was downgraded. So there is nothing much said about him. Probably he did not do anything like his father Bharata. He was more like a Brahmana. He was put in the seat of a Kshatriya, so did not do much Kshatriya activities. And at least we know that he was sage. So then,
One question. Is this the same Bharadwaja that hosted Ramchandra when he was on the way to Chitrakoot?
it looks like that. I mean, I tried to do research on it. It seems to be the same one. So how long he lived, we don't know. And then he is also the son of father of Dronacharya. So another son problem. Drona, pot boy. Drona means a pot. So he is the test tube. Baby. Dronacharya. So that's why Dronacharya is a Brahmana. His father is Bharadwaja, who is a Brahmana. But here he has Kshatriya, son Manya. So his two lines coming from one. Everything about him is two. Right. Not only he was born from two, he creates two. So he has Brahmana, he has Kshatriya. So now hear about Rantidev's story. So Rantidev has a special character. He says, Vyad vittasya dadato labdham bubhukshataha niskinchanasya dhirasya sakutambasya sidataha. So although it seems that Rantidev was king, but what I read was that he was so generous that he was giving everything. Whoever came and asked for anything, he will give. So his elder brother, he says, this is not going to work. So he removed him and he took the kingdom and he said that I will give you monthly allowance. Right? So that is Privy Purse. Anybody remembers Privy Purse? Prashant? तुम्हें पता है Privy Purse क्या था? You don't know. This is when India became independent. So there were 500 kingdoms here. So they made India independent, but these kings, they did not agree that we are going to be part of India. So actually people don't know most of the history. They never teach these things in the school. So these kings now free. They are not India. They are not part of India. They are like separate. So then Vallabhbhai Patel went around and he convinced these kings that you please become part of India and give up your kingdom. That's how the Kashmir problem came. Kashmir problem came because the king of Kashmir was Hari Singh and he did not agree. So he says, no, I will remain independent. But then when he was independent, then some tribals from Pakistan area, they attacked him. And now he didn't want to join Pakistan. So then he came to Nehru. That I want to be part of you, please help me. So that's how Kashmir came. But this POK, this Pakistan occupied Kashmir, that part was already occupied by them. That's how it became POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir, which is still under Pakistan, but it is actually part of Kashmir. So that much they had already occupied. Then Hari Singh came running to Nehru, who was Prime Minister of India, that help me and I will surrender to you, but with a condition. So that's the whole problem which Modi has solved now after 75 years of India's independence. So this is the history. So then these kings, they used to get monthly allowance. That was called Privy Purse. Then when Indira Gandhi became Prime Minister, this was in the 70s, then one day she abolished this Privy Purse. So why I am telling is that this King Rantidev was also getting it. Otherwise, how this story makes the sense that he was fasting for 48 days and he had no food, but he is a king. What kind of a king is he? That he had no food for 48 days. How is that possible? So the possible is that he was king in the name, but he was actually getting monthly allowance. And then his brother was so fed up, because he will give up that also. Whatever he will get, he will give that also. So that is the meaning of Vyad Vittasya Dadto Labdham Labdham Bubhukshata. That he lived on Vyad Vritti, Akash Vritti. This is called Akash Vritti. Like there is one Ajgar Vritti. It is also called Akash Vritti. Like if something falls from sky, then I take it. If it does not, falling from sky means that it just comes. So he is dependent only on his prarabdha and not making any effort to earn wealth. And his wife, children, they all agreed with him to live like that. So whatever he will get, vadadato, he will give that. Also people will come and beg him, he will give that. So if it is finished before the month is over, then he will fast. So 1 month his brother did not give him. So that's why he was fasting 48 days. It was not that he was doing some kind of vrata. It's not that he was observing some kind of special vrata to fast for 48 days. No, his vrata was Vyad Vitta. That if I have something, I eat. If I don't have, I say Haribol. So when he got his monthly allowance, next day somebody came and begged for it and he gave everything. So he fasted. His brother got upset. He says, what is this nonsense, So he didn't give him next month. So now it's going on fasting next month. Like that 48 days he was without, and they're probably in desert area, there is no water also. He is not making an effort to get even water. If water comes, he takes. Maybe he was getting this arrow water bottles from his brother, 5, 10, whatever for the month. So when they were gone, he had no drinking water also. How is it the king does not have drinking water? Nobody questions this. Okay, you don't have food you give, but water is available anywhere. Go to river, go to well. But it looks like that he won't do that. He was a total Vyad Vritti. That if it comes to me, I take. If it does not come to me, then I stay. That's why he said, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said that Audarya and Dharya. That he was very generous and he was very patient. So hunger is something which is more troublesome. Nastik Shuddha Samam Dukkham. There is no more suffering than hunger. It's intolerable. Cannot even fall asleep, you get headache. Right? Pitta people get headache. They don't get food in time. And you can actually become crazy. If you fast, we had some cases like this in our ashram. He was also fasting for 48 days. Finally he was admitted in the mental hospital because he lost his mind. So your chemicals get imbalanced in the brain if you don't eat. Doing Ekadasi is alright. So he says that Vyad Vittasya Dadto Labdham Labdham Bhukshata Niskinchanasya Dhirasya Sakutambasya Sidata. So he was Niskinchana, no possessions. He was Dhira, very forbearing, tolerant. And Sakutambasya, he has a family. And Sidata means he was also suffering sometimes because of not getting the food. So Vyato Gagnadiva Uddamam Vina Daivad Upastitam Eva Vittam Bhogyam. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti explains that Vyat-vritti means just like the sky, if something comes, then accept, if does not come, then make no effort for that. So even when he was hungry, he would not make any effort. So labdham darta bubhukshana manasya. Even when he was, labdham means what he got, and darta bubhukshamanas, bubhukshamanasya, bubhukshata. Even when he is hungry himself, still he will give if somebody came to ask for it. So that's why it's called dhira and niskinchana. And sakutambasya sidata. And he will do this with all his family. Means his family people were also like that. So they could be seen as very lazy, or this is what is called prapatti. This is the meaning of prapatti, which is very important aspect of Sri Sampradaya. So prapatti means that you depend on Krishna, you surrender to him, and then you depend on him for everything, just like an animal, like a cow. If you don't give food to the cow, then what does cow do? It just sits there. If you give, she eats. If you don't give, she doesn't eat. Sidata also means sitting. So therefore whole family was like that. They were all completely surrendered to Krishna, and they would not make any effort for anything, even for their own maintenance. Just fully dependent and doing their japa. That's all. So then comes the problem. So vyatiyur ashta chattvarinshat ahanya pibat takilaha घृतपाय संयावम toyam pratar upastitam. So for 48 days he did not get anything to eat or even drink. So it is amazing to live without even water for 48 days. And the whole family was like that. Husband, wife and son, they all without food or water. And nobody is complaining. He says, well, if this is how God wants us, then we be like that. But then on the 49th day morning, they got a nice feast. So Ghrita Payasa Sanyava. They got nice sweet rice, and also sanyava is porridge, and with a lot of ghee, and maybe some other stuff was there like some puri and sabji. It's not mentioned, but you can assume that. So he got nice feast after not getting anything. So in the Jain Sampradaya, Mahavir Jain was like that. He used to fast sometimes for whole month or more, because he had a principle that he would go begging for Madhukare, but he will not beg just like that. Before he would start for Madhukari, in his mind he will just make some idea that if I see a woman standing at the gate of her house wearing red sari, then there only I will beg. So he will go to the village, and if he does not see anyone like that, then he will come back. Then next day he will go and he will make similar thing. If I see a calf standing in front of some house, then that is the house I will beg. So sometimes he will his whatever symbol he has set in his mind would not be seen. So he will come back, he will go, he will come back, and he will fast. And like that he would go sometimes for months without eating. So now also Jain Munis do that, but they tell their disciples that this is what I am looking for. So the disciples already inform the householder that he is looking for that if there is rose flower hanging at the gate. So when he comes out, he sees the 10 houses there is a rose flower. So he will get so much that he can eat for next 10 days. So Rantidev was not even doing that. He was just sitting, and if he gets it, fine. If he does not get, in fact, not only if he does not get, if he has something and somebody comes to beg, he gives that also. He would not store. Means if he had and someone comes to ask, he would say, no, I need it for tomorrow morning. I take it. Nothing. So one day, therefore, he got a nice feast. Of course, it is dangerous to eat such a heavy food after fasting 48 days. He will die. After fasting like this, breaking fast is also very important. Otherwise, your body will just collapse. So it was good that people came to ask for it. Maybe he did not know. So he says, Kritsha prapta kutumbasya Kshutrad jat vepato atithir brahmana kale bhoktum kamasya chagamat. So he has attained this food with great difficulty, and they were all hungry, including he and his family members. They were so hungry that their bodies were shaking. Like if you become very hungry, you actually start shaking your body, because when hunger is there, your vata gets disturbed, because hunger comes by the pranas. You know the sloka, prana pan samakritva pachami ennam chaturvinam. So digestion, hunger, they are related with prana and apana vayus. So then there is a samana vayu in the stomach, and if the hunger is there, means these pranas they are asking for, and if they don't get it, then they get agitated. That is called kupita. Literally it means they get angry. In Ayurveda they will say vat kupita, pitta kupita. When you say that his vata is, in English you say imbalanced, but literally means is angry. Kopa means anger, kupita means past of that he has become angry. So vata, pitta, kapha, they can also get angry, and when they get angry, then the disease, body becomes sick. So anger is the disease, right? Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava, mahasano mahapapma vidhyena mehaverina. So Kam, Krodha and Lobha, this is what Krishna says, that these are the 3 gates to hell. Trividham Narkadwaram. And these are related to Vata, Pitta and Kapha. This Kama, Krodha and Lobha. Lobha is related with Kapha, and Krodha, anger, is related with Pitta, and Kama is related with Vata. When Kama is there is a Vata disturbance. When Lobha is there is a Kapha. And when anger is there, then there is a, therefore those Pitta people get quickly angry. So he was actually shaking. Jata Vepatho. So at that time, when they were about to eat this food, then a guest came. Atithi Brahmana, and he was a Brahmana. Kale Bhoktu Kamasya Chagam. So when they were desiring to eat, have their breakfast, then Brahmana guest came. So it is a custom that if guest comes, especially if you are eating, at that time in India it is still a custom that people will invite you to eat. If you don't eat, that is another thing, but it's just a custom that they will always invite you, that please have something. And whatever is there, they will share it with you. So then whatever food was there, then another guest came. So he says, okay, we make one more plate for him from our own plate. So he took some from that and gave it to him. So therefore it says, Tasmai samvyabhajat sonam madritya swadhyanvita Harim sarvatra sampashyan sa bhuktva prayevuduja. So he divided the food and gave it to him, and he did not give in a complaining manner. Sometimes we give but begrudgingly. You are not really happy to give. Sometimes you give just because the person has come and you want to get rid of him. And especially if you are hungry. Right? So he was not like that. He, with respect and Shraddha Anvita. With Shraddha, what is the Shraddha? Says Harim Sarvatra Sampashyan, seeing Hari everywhere. So this is one of the principles that you can attain perfection by worshipping anything if you see that Hari is present in it. Because ultimately everything is manifestation of Hari only, Krishna only. It is Krishna only which is manifest. That's what Krishna showed in also Brahma Mohan Leela. He became everything. So there he showed it, but otherwise it is he only who has manifest. It is his energies which are manifest. And this is the teaching of Bhagavatam. From the very beginning when it says Vadanti tat tattva tattvam is jnanam advayam, that there is only one reality everywhere, and that reality has to be seen manifest in everything. So therefore, with respect, he gave food to the Brahmana, and Brahmana happily ate and left. So, you know that khai pi aur khiske? What is that?
You eat, drink, and then leave.
No, there is a song like that. ये अच्छी सूरत वाले किसके हैं? खाए पिए और खिसके. So ये आती थी किसके? खाए पिए और खिसके. Means the guest is not interested in you, so he eats and he leaves.
These is only of the Bandara.
Right.
There was a modified version. खाओ पियो और जल्दी करो.
So he also left. So then they thought that okay, now whatever is remaining, we will eat that. But not so. स्वथान्यो भोक्ष्यमाणस्य विभक्तस्य महीपते विभक्तं व्यभजतं तस्मै वृषलाय हरिं स्मरन्. So when they had the remaining food and they thought that okay, now we can divide that and we will eat it, then at that time one Vrishala, one Sudra came and he says, I am hungry, please give me something to eat. So they gave it to him. What to do? So this is Vrishala, then actually Vrishala is some other, then Sudra comes. Yate Shudre, this is Sudra only, because when he left, Tamonyo agad atithi sobhirabrita rajan me diye tamannam saganaya bhokshate. So when this Shudra has left, and then whatever little food was remaining, because by now much was not remaining anyway, so then they thought we will eat this. Then one Avdhuta came with his dogs. So he's walking and then he has pack of dogs around him and he says that, oh king, he's calling him still king, says, Me diya tamannam, please give me some food, I am dying with hunger and my dogs also need food. So whatever puri etc. he had, he gave everything to him. Now there was nothing left. So vibhaktasya vibhaktavato mahipate anyo atithi ragata tatasya kutumbadirtham vibhaktam evannam tasmai vastam vibhajadada. There is not much comment on this. He is just describing that how he was dividing his food. Then further, Sayadritya avsishtam yad bahumana puraskritam taccha dattva namaschakre swabhya swapatiye vibhu. So he, with respect, he gave whatever food was remaining and bahumana puraskritam, with great respect, because he was seeing that it is God only who is coming for him. So he was truly following this injunction of Atithi Devo Bhava, that treat the guest like God. He was actually treating like. And then he paid obeisances not only to the master of the dogs but also to the dogs. So he says, Namaschakre Shwabhya Shwapatiye Vibhuhu, that he bowed down to the dogs as well as to the master of the dogs. So because he is seeing Hari in everything. So paniya matram uchchesham tacchaeka paritarpanam pashyatah pulkasobhyagad apodehi ashubhasya me. So now there was only some water which was remaining. And this water was only sufficient for one person. It was not that it was enough for the whole family. All he has is one lota water. Everything else, all this halwa, puri, sweet rice, and according to Satyajit, gulab jamun was also there. So it was all gone. And when they thought that let's divide this water and drink the water, then one fellow came. And this fellow was Pulkasa, means lower than even Shudra. and he was completely thirsty. He was dying out of thirst. And he says that I am a lowly being, please give me water, otherwise I will die. So uchesham urvaritam ekameva tripti karoti na tu dvaviti swartham vibhaga narham iti bhava. So he says that it was enough only for one person, and it was not sufficient even for two, so he was not even dividing it. Satasyatam karunam vacham nishamya vipulashramam kripya bhrishantaptam idamaha amritam vacha. So when he heard this pitiable request from this Pulkasha, karunam vacham nishamya vipulashramam, so then out of compassion, Rantidev felt great compassion on living beings. Bhrisha santapta idamaha amritam vacha. He was very tormented by seeing the pain of this man and pain of others. He was not concerned about his own pain, but of theirs. And then he speaks the following two slokas, so that we will read tomorrow because they are very important. So this is probably only one person in the history who existed like this, Rantidev. We don't hear anyone. Of course, we have the story of King Shibi, who was cutting his own body to feed the hawk. But this is very extreme, that person is fasting and whole family is fasting and still is giving. So these are the type of kings who ruled over India. And now you see the politicians who can sell the whole country. So that's why it is called Kali Yuga. Because if you have somebody like this as a king, then why people will be corrupt? Okay, any question?
I don't know if you have it there, but I'm curious about the Kramasandarbha commentary on verse 7.
Yeah, I have. I did not see Kramasandarbha. What is saying? So what do you want to know about it?
Well, this part, Driva Drishtya Bhavina Karunyam Teshu Virudyate, that pertains to Hari's mercy, or the mercy of the king.
You see, this is a very important point. It came earlier also in the story of King Bharat. So it is very nice when we hear about compassion. So what he is saying is that compassion if you do with the jiva bhava, right? That's what he is saying, right? That jiva drishta abhavena karunayam teshu viruddhate, that if you see जीव, later on becomes iti keval जीव karunyam khalu vignaya bhavati bharatvat. So if you can be compassionate by seeing in the sense that it is God here and I want to do service. Or you see independent of God and think this is a living being and suffering and I want to help. So this second type, Jiva Goswami says, becomes an obstacle in bhakti. Because now you become independent. Because obviously now you have to think that you are superior and this person is inferior. And secondly, you are independent, you have the ability to help. And there is no God or bhakti involved in it. So, as I was saying earlier, that one of the theme of Bhagavatam which runs all through is to have this link with Krishna, the Tattva, the reality, and not think that you are not linked and you are independent. So now if you become compassionate, thinking like this, and this is the compassion which you see in the material world and very much appreciated. So he says this goes against bhakti or spirituality. So that's why here in the sloka he says Harim Sarvatra Sampansan. Right? That was the word which was used. So Harim Sarvatra Sampansan, verse number 6. You see? So Harim Sarvatra Sampansan sa bhuktva prayudija. So his compassion is not the compassion which people in the material world generally have. His compassion is devotional activity. He is actually doing seva. So this karuna is his service. So that's what Jiva Goswami is mentioning here. So that's what he's saying, that earlier he's making a purpaksa, that earlier he said Harim Sarvatra Sampansan iti uktam, that he said seeing Hari everywhere, right? Aduna cha tasya tam karna vacham, and now he's saying that he's speaking this tasya tam karna vacham nisamme vipulasramam, hearing the pitiable voice of this beggar. So iti uchyate तत्र सर्वत्रैव हरि अंतर्यामी तया संपंशनिति चेत जीव दृष्ट भावेन करुणायम तेषु विरुद्धते. So now if he sees Hari everywhere and he does not see them as a jiva, then how can he have karuna vach? He cannot be having karuna towards Hari, right? So that's why he says that teshu karunayam teshu viruddhate. तस्मात् तम सर्वत्र परम कारुणिकतया एव संपन्शन तद्भावेन स्पृश्यमान करुणायत इति लक्ष्यते. So he says that when he is seeing Krishna everywhere, Harim Sarvatra Pashyan, he is seeing his karuna also, is that he is param karunika.
He's seeing Hari's mercy everywhere. Okay.
So sarvatra param karunikataya eva sampansan tad bhavena sprishyamane, and then feeling touched by that karuna of Krishna, then he is feeling like that. In verse number 16, when Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu manifest, he only asked for Vasudeva Bhakti. If it was an independent karuna, then that will not happen. Then it will become an obstacle, as it happened in case of Bharat. It says Bharatvat. So iti keval jeev karunyam khalu vignaya bhavati bharatvat tasmat nakamasya ityadina va moksha anadara sapi tat karunya vibhavama bhavanamaya bhakti kirtaya iti nayukta saniti. So therefore he did not ask for moksha There's some sloka having tasmat na kamasya something, referring to some sloka.
So, if we try to apply this in our life in a simple way, if I'm walking down the street and someone comes out of their garden and says, "Can you help me move this ladder?" or just some random thing where you're asked, where there's an opportunity or apparent necessity to help someone, then what is the mental process that you have so that you do that in a way that is compatible with what's being taught here?
Well, this is what Mahaprabhu said, Trinadapi Sunichayan, Taroreva Saisuna, Amanina Manadena Kirtani Sanari. The same principle actually. So you help, but don't think that you are helping because you are independently capable of doing it. You say, because I have this ability by grace of Krishna, and I can help in that. This is the meaning when he says that trust him. That Krishna is Param Karunika, and then that Karuna of Krishna also touched him. Means that this compassion which I feel is not my compassion. I am no one to be compassionate. It is Krishna.
Like Krishna being compassionate to that person through me.
Right. So then you will remain humble. And then you will remain amani. Otherwise, as soon as you help somebody, then you want that you should be respected for that. Right?
Yeah.
But if it is like this, then it will not happen. So you see the beauty of bhakti philosophy? People don't understand this. They think that bhakti is just to concentrate your mind so that then you can come to jnana. No, this bhakti is the only thing which can unite people and make people free from matsarya, envy, jealousy, all these problems are completely solved. Because it's like a thread which ties sutre mani ganaiva, as Krishna says, that everything is strung on me like pearls on a thread. So if we are all part of the same mala, then how can we hate one another? We are all one unit. So then no one feels proud and I am great and this person is less and I can do this. So therefore that is a natural outcome. This Trinadapi Sunichayana is not something which you do as a sadhana. This is a natural outcome of bhakti. Of course, when we are practicing, then we be conscious of it, but for a devotee it is natural. And why it is natural, you can understand that. Because that person is always conscious of Krishna. And he knows that it is all because of his. This is what Krishna showed to Arjuna on the 18th day, when he said that you get down from the chariot and then he gets off and the whole thing burns. So to prove that don't become proud that you have won this battle. Because it's very easy to become proud. Because everybody, you have little thing. Even if when you don't have anything, you are proud. Yes, pride is such a thing. This is the meaning of ahankara. And there is no problem with ahankara. The problem comes becoming proud because of ahankara, of being I am this, I am that. So everybody has got some pride. So when bhakti comes truly, then there is no pride like that. It is not possible. For practical purposes, we have to have, some hierarchy, management, all this, even in varnashrama, all this. But generally, inside there is no pride. So that's the vraja. That's how vraja is. So there are senior people, junior people, there is respect given, but it's not pride is not there. So then you don't see cursing and all this happening. Everywhere you see this person curses, Brihaspati is cursing the guy who is in the womb, he has not even come out yet. Right? So this is just to contrast that. That here is Rantidev and there is Brihaspati. So why are you cursing this boy who is not even born yet? Can't do anything. Cannot even eat. He gets food from the mother. And you curse him. So this is the contrast. This is the distinction. So this is the most amazing thing which has been presented here in Bhagavatam, and especially brought out by our Goswamis. You don't see this anywhere. People really do not understand what is bhakti. Very few people. In the name of bhakti, so many things go on. So that's why when Rupa Goswami says that bhakti, what is bhakti? He says first characteristic is Shubhada, Kleshagni. Now you understand why it is Shubhada. It is so sublime. If it touches somebody's heart, that's why Prahlad Maharaj says all good qualities become manifest. Sarve guna samaste yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana. So all qualities come, otherwise all other qualities are temporary. They come and go. So this is, there is no quality. That's why he says, Hara bhaktasya kuto mahad guna. That is the quality if you are not a devotee. It cannot be. People become upset when he says, what about all these great people? So you have to say, yeah, they are also great. But actually, when you understand, then you will realize that there is no greatness there. Because what is the greatness if you do not acknowledge the very source? So now that's why you understand the modern civilization and all this development of science. It is kuto mahad guna. Hara bhaktasya kuto mahad guna. They are using everything which is given by God and they don't acknowledge at all. And here we have devotees who acknowledge even when they are doing something themselves, even that they acknowledge that this is Krishna's grace. So you see the distinction. So pratishtha sukari vishtha. That is bhakti. And outside pratishtha, you are the boss. Everybody is for that. So in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a mention of 3 Eshnas, which are commonly said. Putreshna, Vitteshna, Lokeshna. So these stories here which you are reading, and that's why I was talking about Putra problem. So there he is saying that people are very much after Putreshna, having a son. These days they don't even have that, but Vitteshna, next is Vitteshna, and then Lokeshna, Pratishtha, honor, respect. So he says the third one is the real one. That's why Mahaprabhu says, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va. Why this is kavita is coming there? That is the lokeshna. That is the pratishtha. So this is what people can give up their son. They can also give up their wealth. But lokeshna, no. Even after I die, my nameplate, my statue, my something, I should be remembered, my samadhi puja should be done. So this is lokeshna, otherwise what else it is? So it is so amazing that if you read Upanishads, you read Mahabharata, you read Bhagavatam, and if you understand this, then you will have the whole picture, what is being described in all this. So this holistic view is the Vedic culture. Okay, you had a question?
When I read this story, I just keep thinking that when he saw, when Rantidev saw everybody coming and he saw Krishna and them, he didn't see it in the family. Nothing is mentioned on that.
Which family?
His wife and son.
Of course.
So then he didn't bother to feed them, and
Well, they were also like him. They were following him. They were having the same vrata as he has. Viyat vritti, Akash vritti. Okay. All right.